Hi, I'm here with Stephen Noels from NG Data, which was formerly known as Outer Thought. So, Stephen, can you tell us something about NG Data?
We're a software company based in Ghent as well as in San Francisco and New York, and we build a application that allows our customers to gather more intelligence and to provide a better experience to their customers.
So, Lily is, I think Stephen is the visionary thinker behind Lily, and that's the flagship product of NG Data. And what should people know about Lily?
So what Lily allows you to is basically to collect a variety of data sources describing human behavior. So your clicks on the website, what you bought on the website, what you bought using your credit card. We bring all of that together, and using that we build a customer DNA. So we can very accurately profile who you are, what you have been doing, and what your interests should be. And using that customer DNA, you can basically support use cases such as providing somebody with a coupon, which is based on his personal interests, including information such as where is he at that point, or what time of the day it is.
You're also the Senior Vice President for Products. And what does that mean? What are your responsibilities?
Well, I'm in the luxury position of being able to define what needs to be built. I'm basically providing product specifications as well as supporting the team with technology architecture and choices there.
NG Data is based in Ghent, but it's also in the US. So how did that expansion and the success and growth happen?
So we started with an R&D center in Ghent, and it's interesting to continue along that path for recruiting reasons. However, we feel that the biggest market at this point, the point of innovation where our customers should be, is mostly in the US. So we've set up a US subsidiary, and we have sales and marketing offices, and working also on product definition and partnerships, both on the East Coast and the West Coast.
You just presented the Big Data State of the Union address. Why do you feel that you're in a position to be able to present that?
Well, that's a funny question, because they invited me to do so, but I've been active in this field for quite a while now. We started building the product and made the technology choices and went for this data system architecture as early as the end of 2009. So I've been around for a while, speaking in software history terms, basically.
How would you summarize your State of the Union address?
Well, sure. I think there were three main points that I wanted to convey. First of all, there's a growing concern on data privacy and protection, so that people are able to basically say at some point to the companies that are tracking them, no, you can't track this anymore, or I want to start a new digital life. That was one point. The other point was, as much as we see a lot of marketing going in around NoSQL, for instance, people basically reacting against the dominance of relational databases. What you see now is that a lot of these big data and NoSQL systems are actually getting SQL interfaces. So that was interesting to find out. And then the last thing I wanted to make clear to the audience was that there is still a lot of craftsmanship to be built. There's both on the educational side, still a lot of challenges, making sure that universities are teaching the right skills to the right people, and that there is still a huge shortage of people, so-called data scientists out there, which are able to compute, translate, and generate insights out of these lakes of data, a skill that is hardly to be found in the current job market.
Is there anything you can share with us about big data in the future? What's to come?
So one of my obsessions there is that data needs to become more professional. Big data systems are still very much hacker-based. It's not business user-friendly. So I think there's a whole lot of maturization that still needs to happen there, both on the technology level, but also on the consultancy level, for instance, that we have business analysts which are able to predict in a more reassuring way, this is the result that you're going to get with your, for instance, big data or NoSQL technology choice.
Is there a difference between the adoption of big data in the US and in Belgium?
Well, there's no surprise there. The US is much bigger for us as a market than than Belgium. There's a lot of interesting initiatives. We are working on a lot of media projects here in Belgium. And basically we have some very, very busy newspapers which we are tracking the visitors on. And that's a lot of data. That's not something that you can easily do with a traditional system. But then we have US customers who say for a proof of concept project, we're looking at 1 million users. And that's basically as big as it can get for a full project in Belgium. So there's a big, big difference in adoption rate as well as in spirit of innovation. And we're trying to make the best out of that by being on both sides at the same time.
Okay, tell me the single most exciting thing that you're working on at the moment with big data.
So what is really exciting for us is that we are transitioning from a more generic proposition. We are able to serve big data projects in a lot of different markets. We are currently transitioning towards a more vertical market-centric approach. So we are targeting media, we are targeting banking as well as telecom companies with a very clear product proposition, very relevant for marketeers in that specific market. And that's a big game changer because we see that most of our competition is basically still coming up with a very generic and technology-driven approach.
So finally, I'd just like to ask you, what are you most looking forward to so far for this day?
Well, actually, going back and look at the talks, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of differencing opinions on a variety of topics. And what is great is that we have been working with the Big Data BE community already for quite some time on gathering like-minded people on this subject. And what I see now today is a big pool of candidate recruits for our big data movement.
Steven, thanks for talking to me and enjoy the rest of Damn Data.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.